Balancing life. The path to peace and prosperity. Life is full of shadows, unrest, pain, and sorrow. No heart has been spared from the sting of pain, no mind has been spared from the dark waters of trouble, and no eye has been spared from the tears of unspeakable anguish. Disease and death have entered every household, severing hearts and casting a dark pall of sorrow over all. Evil has ensnared us all, bringing pain, unhappiness, and misfortune. In an attempt to escape this gloom, people rush blindly into countless devices and pathways, hoping to find a happiness that will not fade away. The drunkard and the harlot revel in sensual excitements, while the exclusive art lover shuts himself out from the sorrows of the world and surrounds himself with tiring luxuries. The wealth and fame seekers subordinate all things to the achievement of their goals, and those who seek consolation in religious rites. For a time, happiness seems to come, and the soul is lulled into a sweet security and an intoxicating forgetfulness of the existence of evil. But the day of disease, great sorrow, temptation, or misfortune comes suddenly, and the fabric of fancied happiness is torn to shreds. Over the head of every personal joy hangs the sword of pain, ready to fall and crush the unprotected soul. But knowledge is the shield that can protect us from the sword. With knowledge, we can face the shadows of life with courage and strength, and find true happiness that endures. The human experience is riddled with contradictions. The child yearns to grow up, while the adult longs for the carefree days of youth. The poor man struggles against the chains of poverty, while the rich man lives in constant fear of losing his wealth. We search for happiness, but it always seems to elude us. We turn to religion, philosophy, and art, but even these fail us in the face of temptation and adversity. But fear not, for there is a way out of this cycle of pain and sorrow. There is a process by which we can break free from the bonds of evil and achieve permanent happiness, prosperity, and peace. And it all begins with a proper understanding of the nature of evil. Yes, my friends, there is a path to a life of unending bliss and fulfillment. It is a journey that requires dedication, discipline, and a willingness to confront the darkness within ourselves. But the rewards are immeasurable. So let us cast aside our doubts and fears, and embark on this journey together. Let us embrace the power within us to overcome adversity and achieve our greatest potential. The road ahead may be long and difficult, but with courage and determination, we can reach the promised land of everlasting joy. It is imperative to understand evil rather than deny or ignore it. Prayers to God for its removal are not enough, one must delve into the reasons behind its existence and the lessons it holds. Fretting and fuming over the chains that bind us is futile, we must comprehend why and how we are bound. To achieve this, we must step outside ourselves and examine our being with humility and patience. We must cease being disobedient children in the school of experience and start learning the lessons set for our edification and ultimate perfection. Evil, when rightly understood, is not an unlimited power or principle in the universe, but a passing phase of human experience. It becomes a teacher to those who are willing to learn. Evil is not an abstract concept outside ourselves, it is an experience in our own hearts. By patiently examining and correcting our hearts, we will gradually discover the origin and nature of evil, leading to its complete elimination. All evil is corrective and remedial, and therefore not permanent. It is rooted in ignorance of the true nature and relation of things. As long as we remain in that state of ignorance, we remain subject to evil. There is no evil in the universe that is not the result of ignorance. If we are ready and willing to learn its lesson, it would lead us to higher wisdom and then vanish away. However, people remain in evil, and it does not pass away because they are not willing or prepared to learn the lesson it came to teach them. So, let us be bold and take the first step towards understanding and removing evil from our lives. The symbolism of darkness representing evil and light representing good has been a long-standing concept. However, within this symbol lies the perfect interpretation of reality. The truth is that light floods the universe, and darkness is merely a small shadow cast by a small object that intercepts a few rays of the infinite light. The light of the supreme good is the positive and life-giving force that permeates the universe, while evil is the insignificant shadow cast by the self that blocks the illuminating rays that seek to enter. Even when night envelops the world in its impenetrable cloak of darkness, it only covers a small portion of our planet. The rest of the universe is ablaze with living light, and every soul knows that the morning will bring a new dawn of light. Therefore, when the dark night of sorrow, pain, or misfortune descends upon your soul, and you stumble along with weary and uncertain steps, remember that you are merely intercepting your own personal desires between yourself and the boundless light of joy and bliss. The dark shadow that covers you is cast by none other than yourself. Just as the darkness outside is a negative shadow, an unreality that comes from nowhere, goes to nowhere, and has no abiding dwelling place, the darkness within is also a negative shadow that passes over the evolving and gentle soul. So, do not let the darkness within consume you. Instead, let the light of the supreme good flood your soul and guide you towards a brighter tomorrow. Remember, you are the master of your own destiny, and the light within you can overcome any darkness. Why pass through the darkness of evil at all? This is a question that many of us ask ourselves at some point in our lives. The answer is simple: by ignorance, we have chosen to do so. But why would we choose to do something so seemingly detrimental to our well-being? The answer lies in the fact that by passing through the darkness, we may understand both good and evil, and appreciate the light all the more. Evil is the direct outcome of ignorance, and when we fully learn the lessons of evil, ignorance passes away, and wisdom takes its place. However, just like a disobedient child who refuses to learn their lessons at school, it is possible to refuse to learn the lessons of experience and remain in continual darkness, suffering from disease, disappointment, and sorrow. To shake ourselves free from the evil that surrounds us, we must be willing and ready to learn and undergo the disciplinary process that is necessary for gaining wisdom and abiding happiness and peace. We must be prepared to pull down the walls of prejudice, self-seeking, and error that we have built around ourselves and let in the glorious and omnipresent light of truth. By earnest self-examination, we must strive to realize that evil is a passing phase, a self-created shadow. All our pains, sorrows, and misfortunes have come to us by a process of undeviating and absolutely perfect law because we deserve and require them. By first enduring and then understanding them, we may become stronger, wiser, and nobler. When we fully enter into this realization, we will be in a position to mold our own circumstances, transmute all evil into good, and weave the fabric of our destiny with a master hand. So, let us embrace the darkness, learn its lessons, and emerge into the light of wisdom and understanding. The world is a reflection of your mental states. What you are, so is your world. Everything in the universe is resolved into your own inward experience. It matters little what is without, for it is all a reflection of your own state of consciousness. However, it matters everything what you are within, for everything without will be mirrored and colored accordingly. All that you positively know is contained in your own experience. All that you ever will know must pass through the gateway of experience and become a part of yourself. Your own thoughts, desires, and aspirations comprise your world. To you, all that there is in the universe of beauty and joy and bliss, or of ugliness and sorrow and pain, is contained within yourself. By the power of thought, you make or mar your life, your world, your universe. As you build within, so will your outward life and circumstances shape themselves accordingly. Whatsoever you harbor in the inmost chambers of your heart will, sooner or later, shape itself in your outward life. The soul that is impure, sordid, and selfish is gravitating with unerring precision toward misfortune and catastrophe. On the other hand, the soul that is pure, unselfish, and noble is gravitating with equal precision toward happiness and prosperity. Every soul attracts its own, and nothing can possibly come to it that does not belong to it. To realize this is to recognize the universality of God's divine law. The incidents of every human life, which both make and mar, are drawn to it by the quality and power of its own inner thought life. Every soul is a complex combination of gathered experiences and thoughts, and the body is but an improvised vehicle for its manifestation. What, therefore, your thoughts are, that is your real self. The world around, both animate and inanimate, wears the aspect with which your thoughts clothe it. Our thoughts are the foundation of our being. They shape our reality and determine our state of mind. If we dwell in happy thoughts, we will be happy. If we dwell in negative thoughts, we will be miserable. It's that simple. Our inner world is the cause of our outer world. We are the masters of our own fate. But some may argue that external circumstances can affect our mental state. And while that may be true to some extent, it is ultimately up to us to decide how much power we give to those circumstances. We are only swayed by external factors because we lack a proper understanding of the nature and power of our thoughts. Belief is the key. If we believe that external circumstances have the power to control our lives, then we become slaves to those circumstances. But if we believe that we have the power to control our thoughts and, therefore, our lives, then we become the masters of our own destiny. So, let us not succumb to the gloom or gladness, the fear or hope, the strength or weakness that our thoughts have thrown around external circumstances. Let us take control of our thoughts and, in turn, take control of our lives. The power is within us. Let us use it boldly. If circumstances truly had the power to bless or harm, then they would affect all individuals in the same way. However, the fact that the same circumstances can be perceived as either good or bad by different souls proves that the true source of good or bad lies within the mind of the individual encountering it. Once you come to this realization, you can begin to take control of your thoughts, regulate and discipline your mind, and rebuild the inward temple of your soul. This involves eliminating all useless and unnecessary material and incorporating only thoughts of joy, serenity, strength, life, compassion, love, beauty, and immortality into your being. As you do so, you will become a person who is joyful and serene, strong and healthy, compassionate and loving, and beautiful with the beauty of immortality. It is important to remember that we have the power to clothe events with the drapery of our own thoughts. In the same way, we also have the ability to clothe the objects of the visible world around us. One person may see harmony and beauty, while another sees revolting ugliness. It is up to us to choose how we perceive the world around us and to cultivate a mindset that allows us to see the beauty and positivity in all things. So, take control of your thoughts and create a life filled with joy, serenity, strength, compassion, love, beauty, and immortality. The mind of the wise person is not ordinary. It sees beyond the surface level of disaster and confusion, and instead perceives the perfect sequence of cause and effect. While the materialist may see only endless nothingness, the visionary sees the pulsating and eternal life that exists all around us. Our thoughts have the power to shape our reality, even when it comes to the souls of others. The suspicious will always see suspicion in others, while the liar will never believe in the existence of a truly truthful person. The envious will always see envy in every soul, and the miser will always believe that everyone is after their money. Those who have sacrificed their conscience for wealth will sleep with a revolver under their pillow, convinced that the world is full of conscienceless people who are eager to rob them. And the one given to the indulgence of the appetites or senses as the means of happiness will always view the saint as a hypocrite. On the other hand, those who dwell in loving thoughts will see love and sympathy in all that surrounds them. The trusting and honest will not be plagued by suspicion, and the good-natured and charitable will not know the meaning of envy. Those who have realized the divine within themselves will recognize it in all beings, even in the beasts. Our mental outlook is confirmed by the law of cause and effect. We attract to ourselves that which we send forth, and so we come in contact with people who are similar to ourselves. The old adage, "Birds of a feather flock together," holds true in the thought world as well as the world of matter. Each clings to its kind. So, let us be bold in our thoughts and actions. Let us choose to see the world through the eyes of a wise person, and clothe the souls of others in the garments of our most loving and compassionate thoughts. For it is through our thoughts that we shape our reality, and it is through our actions that we create a better world for all. Are you yearning for kindness and truth in your life? Look no further than within yourself. The energy you put out into the world is reflected back to you. So, if you want to experience kindness and truth, embody those qualities yourself. And for those who long for a happier world beyond this one, there is good news. You can access that joyous world right now, within yourself. It permeates the entire universe, waiting for you to acknowledge and possess it. Don't be swayed by those who claim the kingdom of God is elsewhere. It resides within you. Believe this with unwavering conviction and meditate on it until you fully comprehend its truth. As you do, you'll begin to transform your inner world, moving from one revelation to the next, and realizing the immense power of a self-governed soul. So, go forth boldly, knowing that the happiness and fulfillment you seek are already within your grasp. As we open our eyes to the truth, we realize that evil is nothing but a fleeting shadow cast by our own selves, obstructing the radiant light of the eternal good. The world around us is a reflection of our innermost being, and with this realization, we ascend to a higher plane of perception where the vision of the law becomes clear. We come to understand that everything in this universe is interconnected, and nothing can be separated from the divine law of God. From the smallest thought to the grandest celestial event, the law reigns supreme. There can be no random conditions, for they would be a denial of the law itself. Every aspect of life is bound by an orderly and harmonious sequence, and the cause of every condition is contained within itself. The law is inscribed in flaming letters upon the portal of eternity: whatsoever a man sows, that shall he also reap. No one can deny it, cheat it, or escape it. Just as one who touches fire must suffer the burning until it has worked itself out, so too must one who indulges in hatred, anger, jealousy, envy, lust, or covetousness suffer the torments of their own making. Let us boldly embrace the law and live in harmony with it. Let us sow seeds of love, kindness, and compassion, and reap the bountiful harvest of joy and peace. The law is our guide, our protector, and our friend. Let us honor it and live in its light. The conditions of the mind that lead to chaos and confusion within are rightly called evil. These efforts of the soul to subvert the law are born out of ignorance and ultimately result in disease, failure, misfortune, grief, pain, and despair. On the other hand, love, gentleness, goodwill, and purity are like cooling airs that bring peace to the soul. When in harmony with the eternal law, these qualities manifest as health, peaceful surroundings, and undeviating success and good fortune. To truly understand this great law that permeates the universe is to acquire a state of mind known as obedience. Knowing that justice, harmony, and love reign supreme in the universe also means understanding that all adverse and painful conditions are the result of our own disobedience to that law. This knowledge leads to strength and power, and it is upon this knowledge alone that a true life, enduring success, and happiness can be built. To be patient under all circumstances and to accept all conditions as necessary factors in our training is to rise above all painful conditions and overcome them with an overcoming that is sure and leaves no fear of their return. By the power of obedience to the law, these conditions are utterly slain. An obedient one works in harmony with the law, has identified themselves with the law, and whatever they conquer forever. Whatever they build can never be destroyed. It is time to embrace the power of obedience to the great law and rise above the chaos and confusion within. Let us build a life of enduring success and happiness by working in harmony with the law and conquering all that stands in our way. The root of all power and weakness lies within oneself. The key to happiness and misery is also within. Progress can only be achieved through self-improvement, and prosperity and peace can only be attained through orderly advancement in knowledge. If you feel trapped by circumstances and yearn for better opportunities, wider scope, and improved physical conditions, know this: you can bring about the changes you desire in your outward life by unswervingly resolving to improve your inner life. The path to self-improvement may seem barren at first, but truth always does. It is only error and delusion that appear inviting and fascinating at the outset. However, if you commit to walking this path and discipline your mind, eliminating your weaknesses, and allowing your soul forces and spiritual powers to unfold, you will be amazed at the magical transformations that will occur in your outward life. As you progress, golden opportunities will be strewn across your path, and you will gain the power and judgment to properly utilize them. Genial friends will come to you unbidden, and sympathetic souls will be drawn to you like a magnet. Books and all other aids you require will come to you unsought. So, take charge of your life and embark on the journey of self-improvement. The power to change your life lies within you. Boldly step forward and claim it. Are you weighed down by the chains of poverty, feeling friendless and alone, and desperately wishing for a lighter load? Do you find yourself enveloped in an ever-increasing darkness, complaining and blaming your circumstances for your misfortune? Stop right there. Cease your complaining and fretting, for the cause of your difficulties lies within yourself, and where the cause is, there is also the remedy. Your very attitude of mind is strengthening the chains that bind you and drawing about you the darkness that envelops you. Worry is soul suicide, and there is no room for a complainer in a universe of law. If you want to break free from the chains of difficulties, you must alter your outlook on life and build yourself up in faith and knowledge. Make yourself worthy of better surroundings and wider opportunities. But before you can step into greater advantages, you must first make the best of what you have. Don't delude yourself into thinking that you can overlook smaller opportunities and still achieve greater success. If you could, the advantage would be impermanent, and you would quickly fall back again to learn the lesson you had neglected. So, my friend, it's time to take charge of your life. Stop blaming others for your misfortune and start building a better future for yourself. The power to change your circumstances lies within you. Will you take the first step towards a brighter tomorrow? To achieve the greater good that you desire, you must first faithfully employ what you already possess. The parable of the talents in Matthew 25:14-30 beautifully illustrates this truth. It plainly shows that if we misuse, neglect, or degrade what we have, even if it's insignificant, we will lose it. Our conduct reveals our unworthiness of it. Difficulties and lack of time and leisure are not the evils we imagine them to be. If they hinder our progress, it's because we've clothed them in our own weaknesses. The evil we see in them is really in ourselves. Realize that you are the maker of your destiny. As you shape and mold your mind, you'll come to see that these so-called evils can be converted into blessings. Utilize your difficulties for the cultivation of patience, hope, and courage. Use your lack of time to gain promptness of action and decision of mind. Seize the precious moments as they present themselves for your acceptance. The most beautiful flowers grow in the rankest soil, and in the dark soil of difficulties, the choicest flowers of humanity have developed and bloomed. Where there are difficulties to cope with and unsatisfactory conditions to overcome, virtue flourishes and manifests its glory. Boldly embrace the challenges that come your way. Use them to your advantage and let them shape you into a stronger, more resilient person. Remember, you are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul. In order to achieve true spiritual and mental strength, it is imperative to practice unceasing patience and self-control. Rather than viewing disadvantages as setbacks, utilize them as opportunities to grow and develop. By setting a silent example and exerting positive influence, you will not only teach yourself but also elevate yourself to new heights of spiritual attainment. It is crucial to avoid complaining about being a slave to others and instead focus on rising above the plane of slavery through noble conduct. Before blaming external factors, take a hard look at yourself and identify any slavish thoughts, desires, or habits. Overcoming these internal obstacles will empower you to conquer all adverse conditions and overcome any difficulty. Do not fall into the trap of blaming the rich for oppression. Consider whether you would become an oppressor yourself if you gained riches. Remember that the eternal law is just and that those who oppress will inevitably be oppressed in turn. Keep the eternal good and justice at the forefront of your mind and strive to transcend the personal and transitory in favor of the impersonal and permanent. By cultivating patience, self-control, and a focus on the eternal, you can rise above any obstacle and achieve true spiritual and mental strength. So, let us boldly embrace this mindset and elevate ourselves to new heights of personal growth and fulfillment. Shake off the delusion that you are a victim of oppression or injury at the hands of others. It's time to awaken to a deeper understanding of your inner life and the laws that govern it. The truth is, you are only truly injured by what lies within you. Self-pity is a practice that is degrading, debasing, and soul-destroying. It's time to cast it out and rise above it. Stop condemning others and start condemning yourself. Don't condone any thoughts, desires, or actions that don't measure up to spotless purity or sinless good. By doing so, you will build your house upon the rock of the eternal, and all that is required for your happiness and well-being will come to you in its own time. If you want to rise above difficulties or any other undesirable condition, you must eradicate the selfish and negative conditions within yourself that are the root cause of these problems. The way to true riches is to enrich your soul with virtue. Without real heart virtue, there is no prosperity or power, only the illusion of these things. Sure, some people make money without any measure of virtue, but that money does not constitute true riches. Its possession is transitory and feverish. Don't be fooled by appearances. True wealth comes from within. So, let go of self-pity, condemn yourself, and enrich your soul with virtue. Only then will you experience true prosperity and power. David's testimony, the prosperity of the wicked, Psalm 73 1-12. Listen up, because I have a story to tell. It's a tale of envy, confusion, and ultimately, redemption. You see, I was slipping, my feet almost gone, because I couldn't help but feel envious of the prosperity of the proud and wicked. Their road was smooth, their bellies full, and their pride sparkled like a jeweled necklace. They had everything their hearts could ever wish for, and they scoffed at God and threatened His people. How could this be? I was dismayed and confused, and I know I wasn't alone. But then, I went into the sanctuary of God, and everything changed. I realized that their prosperity was only temporary, and their end was not one of glory, but of destruction. Their clothing was woven of cruelty, and their words strutted through the earth, but they would not have the last laugh. God's people may have been confused and drinking it all in, but we were not forgotten. We were not alone. So, to all of you who may be struggling with envy or confusion, take heart. The prosperity of the wicked may seem like an insurmountable obstacle, but it is only a temporary illusion. Trust in God, and know that their end is not one of glory, but of destruction. Enter the sanctuary within you, where the state of consciousness transcends all that is sordid, personal, and impermanent. It is the God state of consciousness, the sanctuary of the Most High. Through long strife and self-discipline, you can enter the door of this holy temple and perceive the end and fruit of all human thought and endeavor, both good and evil, with unobstructed vision. No longer will you falter in faith when you see the immoral person accumulating outward riches, for you will know that they must come again to difficulties and degradation. The rich person who is barren of virtue is, in reality, poor. As surely as the waters of the river are drifting to the ocean, so surely are they, in the midst of all their riches, drifting towards difficulties and misfortune. Even if they die rich, they must return to reap the bitter fruit of their immorality. And though they become rich many times, they must be thrown back into difficulties and many times until, through long experience and suffering, they conquers the difficulties within. So, enter the sanctuary within you, and rise above the impermanent and the personal. Embrace the universal and eternal principles, and attain the God state of consciousness. It is the ultimate sanctuary, the highest state of being, and the key to true success and fulfillment. The person who possesses great virtue despite his outward difficulties is truly rich. He is on a journey towards prosperity, and his path is paved with abounding joy and bliss. If you truly desire permanent prosperity, you must first strive for virtue. It is foolish to make wealth your sole objective in life, as this will ultimately lead to your own defeat. Instead, focus on self-perfection and make it your life's mission to serve others selflessly. Reach out with faith towards the supreme and unalterable good. You may claim that you desire wealth not for your own sake, but to bless others. If this is truly your motive, then wealth will come to you. However, be honest with yourself and examine your true intentions. Often, the desire for money is rooted in a love of popularity and a desire to be seen as a philanthropist or reformer. If you are not already doing good with what little you have, more money will only make you more selfish. Any good you appear to do with your wealth will be nothing more than self-congratulation. If your true desire is to do good, there is no need to wait for wealth before you act. You can make a difference right now, in this very moment, and right where you are. If you are truly unselfish, you will sacrifice yourself for the benefit of others. So, strive for virtue, serve others selflessly, and let your actions speak louder than your words. No matter how dear your circumstances may be, there is always room for self-sacrifice. Just as the widow gave her all to the treasury, Mark 12:41-44, those with a true desire to do good do not wait for money before taking action. Instead, they come to the altar of sacrifice, leaving behind their unworthy elements of self, and go out to spread blessings upon all, neighbor and stranger, friend and enemy alike. It is important to remember that prosperity and power are related to the inward good, while difficulties and weakness stem from the inward evil. Money, position, and power do not constitute true wealth, and relying solely on them is a slippery slope. Your true wealth lies in your stock of virtue, and your true power is in how you use it. To rectify your life, you must first rectify your heart. Lust, hatred, anger, vanity, pride, covetousness, self-indulgence, self-seeking, and obstinacy are all forms of difficulties and weakness. On the other hand, love, purity, gentleness, meekness, compassion, generosity, self-forgetfulness, and self-renunciation are all forms of wealth and power. So, let us boldly embrace the path of self-sacrifice and virtue. Let us cast aside our unworthy elements and spread blessings upon all those we encounter. For it is through our actions that we can truly make a difference in the world. As one overcomes the elements of difficulties and weakness, an unstoppable and all-conquering power is unleashed from within. Those who establish themselves in the highest virtue can bring the entire world to their feet. However, both the rich and the poor face undesirable conditions that can distance them from true happiness. It is clear that happiness does not depend on external possessions or aids, but rather on the inward life. The root of all troubles lies not in one's associates, but in oneself. By humbly and sincerely looking within, one can discover and eliminate the source of their unhappiness. It could be a selfish desire, a lurking suspicion, or an unkind attitude that poisons those around them and ultimately affects their own well-being. To truly care for one's associates, one must treat them with kindness and consider the level of respect they would want if they were in their place. While it is rare for an associates to forget themselves and their associates' good, it is even rarer and more divine for a leader to forget their own happiness and prioritize the happiness of those under their influence. If you find yourself lonely and unloved, do not blame others. Instead, be friendly towards others and watch as friends flock to you. Make yourself pure and lovable, and you will be loved by all. It is time to take responsibility for our own happiness and well-being. By looking within and cultivating a noble soul, we can conquer any obstacle and bring the world to our feet. No matter what challenges you may be facing in life, there is a way to rise above them. You have the power within you to transform yourself through self-purification and self-conquest. Whether it's the burden of difficulties or the weight of riches, the darkness of misfortune or the pain of grief, you can overcome it all by conquering the selfish elements within you that give them life. Don't be fooled by the past, for every moment is an opportunity to create a new future. You have the power to make your thoughts and actions good or bad, and it's up to you to choose the right path. Even if you must face the consequences of past mistakes, you can still maintain your fortitude and uprightness. These qualities are the true source of wealth, power, and happiness. If you cling to selfishness, you will only create enemies for yourself. But if you let go of your ego, you will find yourself surrounded by friends and protected by their love. A pure heart radiates divine light that can dispel all darkness and melt away all clouds. When you conquer yourself, you conquer the universe. So don't let difficulties, pain, or troubles hold you back. Shed the old garment of selfishness and put on the new garment of universal love. You will discover a heavenly peace within yourself that will shine through in all aspects of your life. Take the path of self-conquest, aided by the staff of faith and self-sacrifice, and you will achieve the highest prosperity. The power is within you. Remember, I close my letter with these last words: be happy. Grow in Christ. Pay attention to what I have said. Live in harmony and peace. And may the God of love and peace be with you. 2 Corinthians 13:11. Peace. Make each and every day a peaceful and prosperous day, in Jesus' name.